Something that people ask a lot at clinics is, do I have to have a horsemanship stick? Okay, and this is your stock standard horsemanship stick that you see me using in my demos and at clinics. And people are often, I want to use my dressage whip, or I want to use my lunge whip because that's what I've got. That's great, and these three things all have their place. Okay, obviously I own all three. I just got them out of the tech shed. But when you're doing your groundwork and when you're actually, working on getting your horse soft and responsive, the horsemanship stick will always win as being the most effective tool. And there's a few reasons for that. The first thing is the length. Now, if I stand out here and put this out, you can see how far it is. I don't want my horse working any closer to me than that. And if any of you have been at my clinics, you'll have heard me tell a story about how I used to think these sticks were just a way of clinicians making money, until I had someone at a clinic actually get kicked because they weren't using anything at all, and the horse cut in across the circle. Obviously, there was some problems with their groundwork. The horse cut in across the circle, and as it cut in past them, as it ran away, it actually lashed out and kicked the lady in the leg. So this stick is my visible and physical barrier, okay? This is how far I want my horses working away from me. If I reach, okay, I can reach to my horse's hind end if I need him to disengage. And even when I'm working on my disengaging, a stick this length enables me to actually get up towards my horse's girth and push his hip away. If any of these exercises are not making sense, go and have a look at the other videos. There's a lot of them on there. And I find with your dressage whip, A, they tend to be too short, and B, it's not a physical barrier. Like, that's a tiny, teeny little thing. And if you've studied anything about horses' eyesight, horses are big on movement, they're not big on detail, and that's a very fine thing. And I find that people tend, if they want to use a dressage whip, they tend to have to do a lot more of this, whereas if you're using a horsemanship stick, you often only have to actually have the stick there and you'll get a response from the horse. The reason why I don't like lunge whips for your groundwork is they're too big. Again, they're too flexible, they're not physical enough. They have a string on them that you cannot get rid of. Obviously, I do put a string on these sticks, but I also remove it when I'm doing different work, whereas this is stuck here all the time. I find them flimsy, I find them the wrong length. Okay, so look, that's just a personal opinion. If you come to one of my clinics, this is what you should have, okay? This is what will get you the best response from your horse, and this is what I think in your day-to-day training, even when you're away from me, this is what I think will enable you to progress further in your training faster.